rematch from Super Bowl 12. It's the Denver Broncos and the Dallas Cowboys. And it's coming up next on Madden Football.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Lone Star State and the very mammoth AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis on hand. Kickoff just moments away. Charles, quickly, keys to the game.
For me, it's coaching. Who prepared his team the best going into this one to give them the confidence to believe that they would win the game? That's who's going to come out of this one on top.
Set for football now at AT&T Stadium. Brandon Aubrey has the honors, and we are underway here in Arlington. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. So here are the Broncos now for their opening drive. They'll be led out by their rookie QB, the young man out of Oregon.
His ability to adjust on the fly is almost unmatched in the game right now because it leads to a couple of snaps per game where you just sit back and ask yourself, how did he pull that off? Opponents can practice and prepare each and every week all they want, but this guy, he is hard to corral.
He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
From the 33, here's 2nd and 5. Here's Nix. Open man is the tight end Troutman. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. That's good for a first down, his second catch of the opening drive.
And there's a completion to the tight end, and look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Throwing Nix. Man open. He's got it complete to Cortland Sutton. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. Now it looks like we've got a Bronco that's banged up on the play. The medical staff will attend to him, and we will step aside. So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 as they've got it to the 28-yard line. To throw is Nix. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And down inside the 15 he goes. Add the gain here to the previous play, and it's better than 40 yards total. 4 consecutive passes to begin this opening drive, and you can't argue with the results. They've already driven it into the red zone and a fresh set of downs here to play with.
Which means there's a lot of trust by the play caller, by the quarterback, the receivers, you name it. Everyone locked in, everyone doing their job. I'd continue to go in that direction because right now they got the defense back on their heels.
11 more on that one and another first down.
It's all pretty simple sometimes, isn't it? Go where the defenders are not, and he does exactly that. Makes a nice catch to move the chains. Defense, got to find a better way of accounting for the shorter routes that are being run against them.
That is caught by Williams. Touchdown, Broncos. The 3-yard touchdown pass. And the Broncos get the upper hand as they're on the board first here this afternoon. Those are the drives that prove a lot. You got a rookie quarterback, Charles. You're on the road, takes him down, throws the touchdown pass.
And in a game like this, with, as you described, a rookie quarterback, the team usually says, okay, we got to take care of this guy. We got to protect him. But when he goes out and plays like this on the first drive on the road, he doesn't have to say, I'm here to be your leader. They just need to follow him.
Will Lutz on for the point after. And he's got it. 7-0 Broncos. So the drive there took 6 plays.
And it was Javonte Williams who capped it all off with a touchdown reception.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off.
And they finally get to him out near midfield, but he's all the way across the 45 to the 46. First look at the Cowboys offense as Dak Prescott gets ready to guide them.
And how about the toughness of Dak Prescott? We see it all the time on the field. And remember when he had that serious ankle injury, would he return to form? Boy, did he ever. And he was better than ever, and that's great for the NFL. Terrific resilience, playing at a high level, capable of winning a championship with his arm.
Oh, his first throw of the game going to be intercepted. And the Broncos are going to have the short field here as they'll take over right at the 50.
What a start defensively. Your offense goes out, gets the touchdown, and then you get the interception. Just perfect.
How about the discipline that they showed on defense? Because after the offense scored to go up 7-zip, you would think they might be a little extra aggressive trying to get back at them. Instead, they read their keys well. When they took the shot downfield, they were more than prepared for that one.
So now the second drive offensively coming up for the Denver Broncos.
They'll have good field position at midfield following the turnover as they start with a first down here.
Good starting position for the Broncos here as they come up 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. A first carry now. This is Williams. And he's going to get this one down to the 45.
Donovan Wilson that time there on the tackle.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Ball placed at the 45 for 2nd and 5. Off the play fake. Here's Nix.
There goes a deep ball. End zone. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
One thing that offensive guys stress when they throw the deep ball, you're just counting on your receiver to find it, adjust before the defensive back can get his head around. In this case, though, the DB matched it move for move and knocked it away.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass.
To throw, here's Nix. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he will have a Broncos first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Someone sharp in this game. I mean, a touchdown pass on the first drive and comes right back, and he's flinging it around really well here.
Really nice throw there to pick up the first down. You kind of just feel a laser focus and confidence about him, and I think we saw that this week, didn't we? Talking to him and the coaches, they felt good about his performance coming up.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that last practice we saw when they went through 2-minute drill, when they went through all the different situations. Ball hardly hit the ground, and I thought, yeah, he might be locked in for this one.
I tell you what, that's a veteran play from a guy in his first season in the NFL. A lot of rookies are trying to force something there. He thought better of it, and that was the right decision.
Now it's Nix.
And Sutton hauls it in over the middle. And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys' 22-yard line. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains. They'll bring a receiver in motion right.
They'll fake the jet sweep, and instead give up the middle to Williams.
And he'll get it down this time to the 17. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
That's a strong pickup right there on first down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
Now 2nd and 5. Off the play fake. Nix.
Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And able to get this down inside the 15, either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. They're trying to keep the drive going. This will be play number 8. It's 3rd and 2.
Nix to the air.
He'll find Sutton on the right side, complete. And they needed 2. They could only get 1. 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
The kick by Lutz is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense, the firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
And he will score. Touchdown, Cowboys. Officially, it's an 82-yard kick return.
And the Cowboys are back within a score.
I know a lot of special teams coaches, they just want to keep it away from him because that's what he can do.
And others have egos that their players can't keep up with. And they say, challenge him, kick it to him. The way he runs as fast as he is, I wouldn't challenge him at all. I'd do everything possible to keep it away.
He is just a blur when he gets a full head of steam, and he got a full head of steam there.
Aubrey good with a PAT.
And that'll cut it to 3 at 10-7. So now the other return teams out there as they'll try to duplicate what they just saw.
And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23.
The Broncos onto the field ready to start their next drive. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it, forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize, like going to the county fair. You don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. Broncos football as we begin quarter number 2.
2nd down and 4.
As they've got it as we resume action.
Williams going to get it again on 2nd down.
And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
And that's a nice pickup of a 1st down on that 2nd down run. And at that yardage gained, they can run that play on any down.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
They'll stay on the ground with Williams. And good running there as he'll take this all the way up to midfield.
That one going for a gain of 11 and a Bronco 1st down. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they had 3 tight ends in on that set.
And these guys are punching really well. I use boxing analogies a lot. A lot of coaches have told me that when you line up to run the football, it's 10 fistfights along the line of scrimmage, right? You've got to win your share. These 3 tight ends, they almost always win their fistfights.
And he is across midfield from 149 to the other 49, a gain of just 2.
It's vitally important to wrap him up immediately because if you let that big guy get a head of steam up, boy, then you've got real trouble trying to get him down.
But they're able to hold him to a short gain on 1st down.
From just across the midfield stripe, here's a 2nd and 8.
Now we give up the middle to Williams. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and they're left with a 3rd and 8.
Defensively, we always know that he is tough in run support, and I think the way that he gets there is he understands what an offense is going to do before the ball's even snapped. A great job of scouting prior to the game, then reading, reacting, and taking the right path to the ball carrier.
And the Cowboys' pressure gets there this time for the sack.
Getting home that time to Marvin Overshow. He was really focused downfield, but there was really no viable options. The coverage was too good.
And the defense really quickened the tempo of that play with their pass rush because there was nowhere for him to go with the football. The only place he ended up, down on the ground.
Fourth down, so on is the punter, Riley Dixon.
Cavante Turpin deep for the Cowboys.
And here's a very low-line drive, almost whiffed on it. Officially, that'll be marked down as just a 28-yard punt. And the Cowboys will take over the football with a 1st and 10. Second drive forthcoming here for the Dallas Cowboys.
And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back. But make sure you're selective in doing so. Understand where you want to throw the football and make sure it's open before the ball leaves your hands.
So from the 37, here's 2nd and a couple. They run here with Rico Dowdle.
They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a 1st down.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a 1st down. Keep the sticks moving.
2 minutes remaining in the first half. 10-7, our score. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action.
A short one there, taken in by Ferguson.
And they'll get to him after a gain of 7 to the 47. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
2nd down and 3.
Looking to throw. Prescott.
Oh, and his early struggles continue. Here's another one intercepted. Picked off by Pat Surtain.
And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Bronco defense has a touchdown.
We constantly talk about defenders having great vision and being able to see plays unfold and make their own plays. But you also have to have good feel as well, because you can't see everything out there. See the play unfold, feel what's going on, and then get into the right spot and make your own play. And in this case, it turned out to be a highlight one.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. It's good to make it 17-7. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. So they throw the pick 6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30.
The road ahead a little bit more difficult now after that pick 6. So dealing with this deficit here, we'll see if he can try to make amends on this drive. 1st and 10.
Back to it after the pick 6. Prescott.
The throw here right sideline falls incomplete.
And that's a lesson learned from the previous drive. Last time he forced one, and it turned into a pick 6. Here, he knows better, and he just throws that one away.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Now Prescott.
He'll get this to his running back, Dowdle.
He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead.
I know it was a gain, but you have to sense probably a little bit of disappointment there because when it's out there in open space, I think they expect to get more out of a play, don't you?
Especially when you're getting it to your guy out of the backfield. You're expecting him to be able to create something, be a little more shifty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good open field.
And Prescott, his third interception. Broncos are going to have the short field here as they'll take over right at the 50. An unfortunate sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
The Broncos going to go on offense now late in this first half. A new life now following the late turnover. Maybe a chance for points here before the break.
Yeah, pretty nice situation they find themselves in because they're really maybe one completion away from giving their kicker a shot, and that gives them a chance to get some points up on the board.
Now the shot as they come out with 3 receivers to the left on second and less than a yard. Back to throw. Nix. He'll get that complete to Vele.
Only a gain of a yard, but that's all they needed.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. Now the Broncos going to use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. On first down, he'll drop to throw. And that is incomplete. 16 seconds now on the clock.
No receivers open downfield, so instead of forcing the ball to the sideline, he's going to throw this one down to Fort Worth. He'd rather have the incompletion than the turnover.
So second down and 10. Once again, they'll go from the 40. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And that one incomplete, but now a penalty flag coming in late. That might be PI. After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's first and 10.
Nix to throw again.
And this turns into a nice gain with a slide at the end. 4 seconds left, and there's the timeout. In field goal range and a chance to tack on 3 before intermission. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. This from 32 yards away. The kick by Lutz is good, and that will open the lead up now to 20-7.
Well, they already had the early lead, and they get the interception, Charles, and now they add 3 more with the field goal.
Yeah, they're in control of how this game is playing out so far. You mentioned the early lead. Now they're expanding on it, getting plays on both sides of the ball. A winning recipe if they can keep this up.
So we've reached the intermission in what right now is a 13-point game. As we'll get you over to Orlando, where standing by is Jonathan Coachman. He has our EA Sports halftime report.
We were certainly treated to an entertaining first half. Both these teams with some high points and maybe a couple of low points as well. So it's going to be a question of who can be the most disciplined team going forward.
All right, Coach, thank you very much as we welcome you back for quarter number 3.
And great field position coming up as he gets this just shy of the 45, out of bounds at the 44.
The Cowboys offense and Dak Prescott getting ready to go once more. And it's been a struggle for him all afternoon. This defense has really done a nice job of making him earn everything he gets, and it's prevented him from getting into any kind of rhythm here today. The Dallas offense here set to begin the drive. And they're still very much in this game, although they do trail. What's the game plan, Charles, for the second half?
It might be a little counterintuitive because most people will think losing equals passing the ball more, but I'd establish the running game. They kind of went away from it in the first half. I think if they get back in balance, it'll help them when they put the ball back in the air. And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open, just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
And that one off the mark behind him, incomplete. Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
And darn right, they did something to disrupt that timing.
They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10.
On the run, it's Dowdle.
And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Officially nothing on that one, no gain, so they're left with still 10 to go on 3rd down.
Absolutely love the effort there. The ability to flow from his inside spot and stop that one at the line of scrimmage. Nice linebacker play.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Prescott now.
Able to find the open man. That's complete.
And he's out of bounds. Almost gets to the 10. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup.
It's taken a while for this offense to get going. A little creaky at the start, but they're oiled up now. A nice throw there, and they're really putting together a good drive.
Now a 1st and 10 at the 11.
Throwing, Prescott. There again is Cooks, complete. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
Second and 1 from the 2.
To throw is Prescott. Got his tight end. That's complete. It's Ferguson. Touchdown, Cowboys.
Jake Ferguson.
A 2-yard touchdown grab.
And the Cowboys have cut it back within a score.
That's a score you felt they had to have here in the 3rd quarter to get back in this game.
And you know that there was an emphasis on their side. Hey, we know this. We know where we are. But sometimes that binds you up so much that you try too hard, you don't get the score. A perfect combination of urgency, yet relaxed enough to get it done.
Aubrey now for the point after.
And it's good. The deficit 6, 20-14. That time a 6-play drive. And it's capped off for the Cowboys touchdown.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And he'll be stopped up at the 25.
So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the 2nd half.
But Charles, they still have the lead despite their defense giving up a touchdown on the previous possession. And even though they have that lead, it feels like a back-and-forth ball game where to try to get momentum back, maybe they need at least 3 here on this drive.
I think you're right about that, Brandon, because your game plan doesn't change. I do believe your urgency does because of the last score that went against your team. So what you want to do now is have your own drive and try and make sure that that momentum stays in your camp.
Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. From the gun, it's a run for Williams. And he'll take this up only to about his 18-yard line. And they only get a yard back there. They'll be left with a 3rd down and long.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. This is caught by Williams. And they'll blow that one up back at the 16-yard line. They'll wind up losing a couple yards here on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
Partner, when you see a screen pass and the defensive tackle ends up making the play, you know that one wasn't sold well at all because he should be upfield by the time you throw the pass. If not, you end up with big trouble, as we just saw right there.
Taking a couple yards shy of midfield. That'll go as a punt of 34 yards that time. And the Cowboys are going to take over in great position here with a 1st and 10.
Dallas offense set for this next drive. A long drive last time out for this offense, Charles. If you remember, they started basically in the shadows of their own end zone, marched it down the field, and a lot of that was through the passing game.
And partner, as a former defensive back, I'm having almost a physical reaction watching what's happening right now. But let's give credit where it's due because they've done an excellent job moving the ball through the air. Secondary getting picked apart pass by pass. Obviously, they need to make some adjustments there on the back end.
And because offensively, we know that they're not going to be shy about throwing that football.
Prescott to throw it. He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack.
Nick Bonito, the outside linebacker, dropping him for a loss of 6. I think a lot of time when we see a sack, you say, well, you blame it on the offensive line, the quarterback, but here, maybe you just tip your hat to the defender. What a play.
Yeah, and I think sometimes they just get a sense of the play before the ball's even snapped. Kind of like a sprinter anticipating the gun in a race. They're off, and guess what? The quarterback's down.
Prescott.
Open man, right side, it's Lamb.
And he's going to be stopped here at the 43, and that is not near enough to pick up the 1st. They'll wind up getting just a yard, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield.
I don't care who you are. 60 yards is a very ambitious attempt. Hard to make even in practice in the best of conditions. And now, worst of all, you give the other guys the ball to start their drive at midfield.
Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here.
Obviously not the intended goal last drive. They had to punt the football, but still, they've got the lead here, and now a chance to add on to that lead if they can get points on this drive. 1st and 10 upcoming.
Now a 1st down carry. It's Williams.
And good work there in open space. And he's got this all the way down now to the 32.
That good for 19 and a 1st down.
First down, Broncos.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this 3rd quarter. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Arlington. It's Bronco football, and they also have the lead here as we get set for the 4th.
Here's Nix.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Denver. A great effort there. 32 yards.
And the Broncos are able to build on to their 4th quarter lead.
He put quite a bit of air underneath that touchdown pass. Of course, we knew that he had the strong arm.
That part was easy. You could see that throughout his college career. But what you want to know about a rookie is when the pressure's on, can you throw with touch? He just did right there. And, boy, it was pretty.
And now the offense is going to stay out there as the Broncos will go for 2.
The Broncos will line up for the 2-point
They'll look to run for it with Williams. And he is into the end zone to bump the lead up 2 more. And so they run it in on the 2-point try. You know, so often, Charles, we talk about from the offense's perspective what you do on the 2-point conversion. How about the defense? How do they play run versus pass?
It's really difficult for them because I think most teams want to play for the pass. That's what they see most teams do. And so are you able to mass enough people inside if the team decides to run it? Very difficult. I think what you're seeing a lot more now, people blitzing the 2-point conversion. They want you to make a quick decision and make it right now.
There, the offense wins the battle for 2. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off.
And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape, up past the 30.
Here's the Dallas offense now, heading back out onto the field.
And this group has suffered far too many self-inflicted wounds thus far as we run through some of the mistakes. It's darn near impossible to win in this league when you're turning the ball over at the frequency that they have.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. They'll start on the ground here on first down. And he'll work this one up to about the 38. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
Now that's the way you want to start a drive. Talk about a tone setter as well as a playbook opener. Now if you want to take a big shot over the top, you're all positioned to do so.
From the 38 now, here's 2nd and 3.
Here's Prescott. And Cooks has it over the middle. That one, a first down pickup of 8. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, you're down 2 scores. I don't think you need to rush just yet, but you can't take your time either.
Yeah, even if you don't want to commit to full 2-minute offense, you have to up the tempo, up the urgency. Maybe you're starting to call 2 plays in a huddle each time you snap the ball.
Here's Prescott. And his throw here's incomplete.
Everything about that play tells you about today's NFL offenses and what they're asking out of running backs. You can't just be a guy who can run the football. You have to be able to catch it as well, and he didn't get that done on that play.
Under 4 to go now as they come up on 2nd down. Now Prescott.
Outright, he finds Tolbert.
And this is going to be another first down as they'll make the tackle at the Broncos' 29-yard line. That one goes for 24 yards.
Good yardage on the completion there. And when they look at the scoreboard, they do understand a field goal is not going to do them any good. My guess, they're going to press the ball downfield as far as possible, try and throw it into the end zone and get a score because they know they've got to get that done and get the ball back as quickly as possible.
Another good gain. That's now 35 yards combined on those last 2 plays.
What a drive this has been, just chewing up the yardage. And here's one of their best plays yet as they finally get down into the red zone and look to finish this off with 6.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18.
They'll throw again. Prescott. And he's going to be taken down here. A sack back at the 32.
Nick Bonito picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
Well, many times when you talk about mobile quarterbacks, you get the sense that they feel like they can get out of any bad situation. They keep moving around and trying to emulate guys like the Scrambler or the Dodger. Instead, they keep losing yardage and digging themselves a hole that they can't get out of.
And this throw incomplete. And the defender all over him that time, and it's going to lead to 3rd down.
Well, he'd been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
A big play needed, no doubt. 3rd and long.
They'll look to throw. He finds his man, complete. That's Ferguson.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get it to that big frame and hope he can scatter some bodies, unable to get it done.
Desperation time. Prescott on 4th. And this is going to be caught. No, they say it's incomplete.
And now it appears that the referee's been buzzed, and we'll get a review. And this being inside 2 minutes of play, everything coming from up above. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How's the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
So the officials and the folks in New York got a second look at this one, and the call is going to be overturned.
They do tack on the extra point as well, and now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. The Broncos offense and Bo Nix getting set for this next possession. And as we show you some of the highlights from earlier, he has been instrumental in getting his guys the lead as he looks to finish strong and close this one out. Denver offense at the line, ready to go. And this game not quite over yet. And we'll likely see them take all 3 timeouts defensively, so they can't just kneel this one out. They're going to have to try to run a few plays.
You're exactly right. They've got to get a first down and make them use up all their timeouts in order to feel like they have this one in hand.
Another running situation on the doorstep as they come up 2nd and 10. He's going to get it again. Just looking to get forward and protect the ball.
The Cowboys going to use their 2nd timeout now as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next.
So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. To throw, here's Nix. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
The Cowboys signal for their 3rd and final timeout, and they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. And they take a knee. They'll run out of the gun here. Williams. And they will only muster a yard here to the 38.
I like a guy who understands the situation. I also like a guy who you look at him and you say, that looks like a guy who knows the coach is going to say, guess what? You drop this one, you'll be carrying around a training facility for an entire week.
Maybe flashback to high school or college, carrying it around campus, right?
The old gauntlet drill, right? Anyone get the ball out while he's sitting in class and bring it back to the coach? He's in big trouble.
So this one will wind up a Denver victory. And we talked so much about the turnover battle determining who wins and who loses. This game, no exception. They didn't turn the ball over at all, and they go on to victory.
They look like a smooth operation in this one, didn't they? Because you look at every facet of the game, they handled their business. Offense took care of the football, converted it into points. Defense took the ball away, gave it back to the offense. Special teams, right there with them. That's the type of game a coach is going to really love and value. And when they show the film, they have to be careful not to give out too many kudos and kill their motivation going forward.
So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.